Nearly missed it. Hi guys, welcome to Security Dog Handler Live, episode 50. Is that going to work? Oh, I was all prepared and then I wasn't. Hi guys, welcome to episode 50 of Live Security Dog Handler. I am on my last shift before Christmas. I finish after tonight and then I won't be back in until New Year's Day. So lucky me, got both dogs on board tonight. Mrs wants to do some cleaning of the flat and she wanted the dogs out, so I've got both dogs on tonight. It's been pissing down with rain all day, so it's flooded everywhere, but yeah, other than that we are all good. Jack, he received the signs, mate. Nice one. Good to hear that they got to him. Part-timer? Yeah, part-timer. I think most dog handlers, they work all through the year, including Christmas Day, Boxing Day. I save holiday and I am going to be finishing after tonight, so come 6 AM I am off the clock. This possibly might be the last live of the year. I haven't decided quite yet. It might be the last live of the year, just through obviously going to be busy doing stuff. It's much easier what was I going to say? It's much easier to do these lives whilst I'm obviously working, do it in a little bit of downtime, etc. But yeah, other than that, I am all good. One shout out, I got someone message me, I think his name was Neil, maybe Neil. And he wanted me to shout out Kira. Is it Kira? I think it's Kira. He wanted me to shout her out. She is one of my biggest fans. Apparently she doesn't miss a live. Apparently she is watching right now, so they wanted me to give her a shout out. He's a little bit put off by me because apparently whenever they go to bed she puts my videos on to watch whilst they're in bed together, which I think puts him off a little bit, but other than that it's not too bad. But yeah, he wanted me to give her a shout out, wish her a very Merry Christmas, and says that he has got a very big surprise for her Christmas Day, so that's something for her to look forward to. Just wanted to give her a shout out. Strike Thunder, buongiorno mate, how you doing? But yeah, other than that, like I say, got that message off Neil. I think his name was Neil, maybe. But he's just wanted me to give her a shout out, and but yeah, Neil has got a massive surprise for you on Christmas Day, which you should look forward to. But yeah, other than that, is everyone good? I'm feeling pretty good. Like I say, I'm in a chipper mood. I had a bit of a miscommunication on my Sunday shift, which meant I had to do a couple of extra hours. But I think that it's important that this is, look, human error is human error. It can happen to everyone. It's happened to me before when I've been doing other job roles. Human error is human error. So I kind of just got on with it, done what I had to, and that. So look, it's, as long as it all gets sorted out in the end, doing a couple of extra hours through someone having a bit of human error is not the end of the world, is it? Strike Thunder. I'm currently out with the dogs, wrapped up like I'm walking in a full bite suit. Yeah, it's a bit chilly tonight. I played football. I played some sort of 7-a-side last night, and it was reasonably mild. And then I've got here today, and yeah, it's still 4 or 5 degrees. I think it might get down to maybe 2 or 3 degrees tonight. But I'll watch that video. But yeah, it's still going to get down to sort of 2-3 degrees tonight. So, but one thing I can, with reasonable safety, say is I have managed to miss any snow this Christmas in terms of working, etc. That's the one thing I said a few lives ago that I was worried about, was this site having snow, because sort of the road coming in and coming out, etc., could be a little bit dicey. But I can say with some reasonable comfort that I have missed the snow. Now that doesn't mean that the snow's not going to come in January February or March time. But for now, I've managed to miss it, and hopefully if the snow does come next year, maybe I'll be on another site, or maybe this site, maybe the road will be well gritted. It's used for the public, so I assume that maybe the council or someone will have to do something in order to try and keep the public safe. I've got an interesting one around where I live, is that although they sort of sort the roads in terms of like the public footpaths where I live, in terms of the footpaths and that, they don't touch them, so they turn into literally ice skating rinks. So let's say that there's, I don't know, 6 inches of snow that goes on the footpaths. The way in which they do it is that if they treat it and someone hurts themselves, then they're held liable. But if they don't treat it, then they can't be held to account of them poorly maintaining the footpaths, etc. So they kind of leave it. So I'm not looking forward to that. But I think that the site that I'm on, because it does have public access, and I think it will be something to do with the council, that they will have to do something about it. So possibly on this site, maybe the snow won't be that much of a problem, but we'll soon find out. But I won't be finding out this side of Christmas, because it ain't going to snow tonight, and I'm going to be all good. So yeah, is everyone good? Has anyone got any questions or shout outs? Has anyone got any questions or anything that they want me to talk about, etc.? I've got, over the last couple of nights, I have put together my quiz. So I've got a 10-question quiz that I'm going to be recording tonight. So this coming Saturday is going to be a quiz. So there's questions in there about sort of laws, dog handling, security guarding. So there's going to be a quiz on, what's that going to be, the 23rd, and then the following Saturday, so whichever one just before New Year's, will be the answers to it. I think that if you are a seasoned security dog handler, you should know a fair few of them. I think that there may be a couple in there. There may be a couple of questions in there that maybe you have to think about, etc. But I think it's quite hard to do a quiz around security dog handling that security dog handlers aren't going to know the answers to anyway, because if you've been doing this long enough, or you're just out of training, or whatever it is, you should know the vast majority of questions I can kind of ask you. So yeah, there's going to be a 10 question quiz on this coming Saturday. The following Saturday will be the answers, and I can sort of talk through some certain bits and pieces and that. So yeah, they're the videos that are coming up. Strike Thunder, Merry Christmas to you and your family, bud. I can't feel my fingers to message and hold the phone. Well, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everyone that sort of watches my videos and comes into lives, etc. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate people that come into the lives and get involved in the comments on like the chats and things like that, because it does make my job a lot easier. Because a lot of the time when I come in and do these lives, I may have maybe 1 or 2 things to sort of talk about, and I try to do like 45 minutes to an hour of this, but when I've got maybe 1 or 2 things to talk about, that's not going to take 45 minutes. So it really does help if people come into the chats and they give some questions, they ask some questions, or give something that they want me to talk about that maybe I haven't brought up before, or something that I'm not going to bring up myself. It does make my job a hell of a lot easier, and makes me want to do these lives as well. I miss doing the lives, so I used to do them every other Wednesday, and I used to do them from home, etc. And then YouTube said, you are now famous enough that you can do them on your phone. So now it makes it easier that I can do them on my phone, because then I can do them at work, and I can take 45 to an hour out of sort of my downtime just to do a live and things like that. Obviously, I'm still working, as you've seen in previous lives. If someone comes to the gate or something's happening by the gate, then I will leave the live for a couple of minutes, go and sort that out, or speak to whoever it is, and then I'll come back in. But being famous enough to be able to do it on the phone makes it a lot easier. That obviously I can do more, and I do enjoy coming on and doing lives on a Monday and a Thursday, or however I can fit them in during the week. And if I do get a chance, I will try and fit maybe a live in after Christmas. Before Christmas, I'm going to be quite busy, obviously being off from tomorrow morning. I've got bits that I need to do in order to get everything prepped for Christmas. We've got the fiance's mum and dad coming over. They're staying with us for 10 days, I think it is, something like that. So we've got to get stuff ready for them. They turn up Friday. And then, yeah, after Christmas, I'm going to be playing a couple games of golf. We've got some things that are planned, sort of some days out planned, etc., and some lunches, etc. So if I can fit in a live between Christmas and New Year, I will, but there's no guarantee. We'll obviously see how that pans out. If not, then the lives will return after the New Year. Like I said, I'm back in New Year's Day and back to normal as far as I'm aware. So as long as the site doesn't change, you guys would have known that last week or the week before, whenever it was, when I had a change of site, I cancelled the live because I needed to be a bit more, not aware. I think that I'm still aware when I'm doing this, but it was a site that I didn't know, with a threat level that was much higher than it is here. So I wanted to make sure that I was concentrating on that and not doing a live. Also on that site, that there was people working until like 10-11 o'clock, and I think having the security guards doing a live YouTube whilst people are still wandering around and things like that isn't the best look. So I am obviously a dog handler first, and I do this YouTube stuff on the side, etc. So yeah, after New Year, as long as nothing changes and I'm here, etc., they will return. So yeah, has anyone got anything been going on? I think that one of the things I do like about having sort of Christmas to New Year's off is that it's potentially a really busy time for crime. I think that's something you have to keep in mind, is that criminals will know that places will be shutting down just before Christmas and probably not opening until after New Year, etc. So one of the good things about being off at that time is that it is a potentially busy time, but it's obviously a busy time because the public go out for walks and different things like that. And if you are working a site that is reasonably accessible to the public, etc., you could be constantly out with just people walking across your site that are just out for their little Christmas walk, etc. And I'm not saying I'm taking that time off because I don't want to have to deal with busy periods, etc. I can deal with busy periods throughout the rest of the year, etc. I just choose to have the Christmas break off. Obviously, well, not obviously, you guys don't know, but my missus works in an office, does 9 to 5 type of job, and obviously she has just before Christmas till after New Year off. So it's nice that we can have some time off together, because again, if she takes time off of work throughout the year and I take time off throughout the year, it's not always easy to marry up. Obviously, I work nights, she works days, etc. So if we don't really take a week off together, because we find it pretty pointless to take a week off and stay where we live. Okay, we can every now and then we'll go find a not a caravan park, but like a chalet park, and we'll go there for a week, etc. But it's not often that we spend that much time together. So while she's more or less forced to take that time off between Christmas and New Year, that's why I save my holiday to have that time off as well. But obviously that can be a busy time of year for criminals, etc., because they know that places are going to be shut down for a week, 2 weeks, or whatever it is. So some dog handlers might be a little bit busy. Some dog handlers, if I was on this site, I don't think it would change anyway, to be honest. I don't think that this site would have a sudden influx of criminals coming through the gate because they think it's closed. So, but yeah, I hope everyone has a good Christmas. Hope everyone gets what they want, etc. We're quite close to Christmas now, but if I did do, not last year, I think the year before, I done a video for Christmas gifts for a dog handler. They were just sort of some ideas of stuff that that dog handlers might want. So maybe watch that video, and if there's anything that you might like, or you could do with out of that list, etc., it might be just good just to pass that video on to your other half or your parents or whatever it is, and say there's such and such in this video that interests me, that will be useful. Because I think with a security dog handler you can get quite a lot of tack that maybe isn't very useful, and I think it's always good if you can put a video over to them of stuff that actually will be useful. Because I think the amount of stuff as a dog handler you can get that's absolute tack that just sort of clogs up the van that you're never going to use, I think that's quite common. So yeah, there's a video, security dog handler Christmas list or something like that that I done a few years ago, that has some ideas for security dog handlers, presents, etc. Like I say, it's quite close to Christmas now, so a lot of people might have already got their presents for their dog handling other halves or whatever it is by now. But yeah, ex-wife of French serial killer jailed for life for a role in the murder of 2 women. Breaking news on the BBC. See, breaking news. I bring you breaking news on these lives as well, as and when they pop up, etc. But yeah, the dogs are going to be with me all Christmas. I think there's only one. Is there one day? I think one day I'm gonna shovel the dogs off to my mum and dad's for them to look after. Other than that, I'm going to be looking after the dogs. So we're going to have, obviously, me, the fiance, her mum and dad in the flat, as well as the 2 dogs. So that will be nicely chaotic, I would imagine. I can't imagine the dogs are going to give us much time off, but it's a family time of year, isn't it? So when people come over, they're just going to have to deal with the dogs, because the dogs are our family, aren't they? So, but yeah, need to look at what I'm going to do with YouTube after the new year. Try and figure out what I want to do with it, etc. I think I'll say this quite a lot. with the YouTube, etc. is that I'll do it for as long as I feel people enjoy the videos or people want it, etc. So I'm maybe going to look at changing up how I do my YouTube in the new year. So if I think is it the 2nd of January? I've got a feeling the 2nd of January rings a bell in terms of maybe my first video that will make it 3 years. I think that's correct. I'm not 100% sure, but I've been doing it for about 3 years now, and I think feel like the videos are getting a little bit samey. So what I might, like I say, I might just change it up a little bit and try and work on something a little bit different with the YouTube, etc. I've contacted another trainer. So I contacted another trainer earlier in the week, or was it the end of last week, one or the other. I've contacted another trainer. Going to be looking at starting with a new trainer next year. I think that they're going to be a bit different to the way in which sort of Terry trained, and they may be a little bit different to the way that Terry puts over being a security dog. So I'm either going to have to be a little bit more open-minded. I think it's important that I don't lose what I want out of training and different things like that. But it's definitely going to be a little bit different. Whether they're going to let me do videos and that, I'm not 100% sure. They may not want me to do it. So I'm going to have to see how that goes. The reason that I'm going to see someone else is nothing to do with the guy that's taken over Terry's training. As far as I'm aware, he's only done 1 session, and it was on a day where I wasn't able to do it because I was coming off a shift and I had a shift that night. I think I've explained this in one of the last few lives, etc. So it's nothing against the way in which he trains. It's nothing the way in which he trains or anything like that, but it's just going to be a case of needing to needing to find a trainer that works, that does training on the days in which I can obviously go there and do it, etc. So yeah, that's something that is possibility of the start of next year. I'm looking forward to it, to be honest, because I think ever since I started being I'll answer that in a sec. I think ever since I've been, ever since I started becoming a security dog handler, I've always been training with Terry. I've been to Terry's sessions and different things like that, and possibly what's the best way to look at it is that I've only had sort of Terry's guidance, and obviously the people that he trains and maybe his trainers, they've kind of pushed me into a way of thinking and a way of training, etc. And whether that's right, whether that's wrong, I don't know. It's not harmed me. So the way in which Terry's told me to train, the way in which Terry has put over security dog handling to me hasn't harmed me, hasn't harmed me in the way in which I work. I think that a lot of people enjoy the way in which I put over stuff, and to be honest with you, the way people have enjoyed the way I've sort of put over stuff, and I've not mimicked, but a lot of what I say is kind of what Terry put onto me. Yes, sometimes I have slightly maybe different views, or I put my own bit of personality or my own kind of views in there as well. But I think over the last 3 years, a lot of you have just got very similar training to what I got with Terry, and possibly that's why it's helped a lot of people that were a novice to start off with, and now they're security dog handler, or it's got people thinking about this job a bit differently to maybe the way in which people portrayed the security dog handling job or role, or the people that are in it. Maybe I've changed their sort of view on that sort of stuff. Right, someone sent me some messages that loves to live off the grid, so he won't type it here, but he sent me some messages of some questions, and he asked favorite and least favorite part of the job. Now, I'd say that when I was doing it more regularly, obviously Terry's now retired, etc., but I'd say my favorite part of the job was always going to training. It was going to training sessions, being around other dog handlers, because 340 days a year, I don't really socialise with other dog handlers in other rooms. I don't work alongside other dog handlers, so being able to go to training, be able to do sort of patrol training, protection training, article search training, and being surrounded by other dog handlers for whatever it was, 4 or 5 hours, whatever it was, I'd say that was one of my most favourite things. And I think that's especially when I first started, and that's possibly why I got Coop to where he was now. Again, I'm not saying that Coop is the best trained dog you're ever going to meet in your entire life, but I think that's the reason that I managed to progress Coop so much in a reasonably short period of time, really. I mean, 6 months sounds like a long time, but taking him from where he was hiding behind me, if you threw a blanket over his head, he wouldn't really bat an eyelid, etc. Taking him from that to a NASDO team certificated security dog in 6 months. The reason that I got him there that quickly was because I enjoyed the training. I enjoyed going to training. I enjoyed training afterwards. So I'd say it was going to training sessions and things like that. The least enjoyable part of the job, I would say, would be, I mean, I haven't really had to deal with, I haven't had to deal with many people, to be honest. I'd say the least enjoyable part of the job is dealing with members of the public who feel they have a privilege or they have an attitude, and they feel like that they can portray their privilege or their attitude over to you, and there's very little you can do. Like, if you was in another setting, let's say a pub, and they put their privilege or their attitude over to you, there's a good chance that you might have a swing at them. But knowing that the role that you are, etc., and things like that, you obviously can't do that. But I think it's dealing with people that have that feel like they have a privilege, or feeling like they have an attitude that they can portray over to you, and there's very little that you can really do about it, because you have to kind of stay professional, etc. Because phones and cameras and things like that are everywhere now. And I actually got sent a video the other day, and I'm not going to say that they're an example, but if you get like auditors that come round and they have the camera out and they portray an attitude or a privilege towards you in such an argumentative way, that you kind of just have to stay professional, because it's all going to be on camera, etc. But they are an example of that, and I've seen auditors that know that they're doing something that's going to get a reaction and a wind up out of someone, and then when they get a reaction or a wind up out of someone, they all of a sudden give more attitude over to antagonize whoever it is. Now, the person that they're antagonizing possibly shouldn't rise to it, I think, but it does happen a lot of the time. But I got sent a video the other day of a security dog handler, and it was an auditor, and they was out on the public land, popped the drone up in the air, etc. Annoyed the dog handler. The dog handler come over with an attitude, which obviously then got the auditors back up, who was giving some attitude back, and it just creates a massive situation. But I've had a couple of people that have walked. So one of the sites that I was on previously that had no fence line, I had a couple of people walk on there. One of them wanted to give it the big I am, but really I didn't even have the dog out, but he sort of backed down pretty quickly. But he was giving me a bit of attitude. I had another person walk across there that was on the phone, and when from a reasonable distance, I would say 20 meters, I asked them not to use it as a cut through, etc. He was on the phone and he gave me some sort of wave, to which I reiterated my point in a slightly louder volume, so at which point he turned round and gave me the privilege of, I'm on the phone, don't talk to me. So I'd say that that's one of the least favourite parts, but it is part of the job. Like, dealing with people with an attitude, dealing with people that feel like they have a privilege is part of this job, etc. I've been speaking to someone who wants to get into security dog handling. He's managed to get his SIA license, and he's now working at a supermarket as security whilst he sort of stays up to sort of get a dog and be able to do his NASDO, etc. And he sent me a message the other day asking me about stab vests, because he had a situation that was not really anything to do with him, but he had a small knife pulled out on him, and he said to me, where do I get a stab vest from, etc, etc. I want to get myself protected. And I said to him that it is funny to me that my video is out there. I've always said that I've always got a stab vest. Now, am I wearing my stab vest on this site? I'm not currently, because of the threat level, etc. Now, obviously, if something does happen, then I'll look back on it and say, oh, I wish I had been wearing my stab vest. At the moment, I don't. If a situation arose where I needed it, I can put it on pretty quickly. But my videos are out there. I've never hidden the fact that if I need to, like the site that I done a couple of weeks ago when the threat level was high and it was a new site, my stab vest was on. And my videos are out there about stab vests. I've never hidden the side of me owning a stab vest, etc. And I said to him, look, sometimes it takes a knife being pulled out on you. He's working in a supermarket, so it's a pretty public area. He's had a knife pulled out on him in a public area, and it's not until that happens that a lot of people clock on to, right, I need to get myself protected, etc. And like I say, it could happen anywhere. If someone's willing to pull a knife out in such a public place on a private property similar to what I'm on, or similar to like the building sites I've been on, etc., they're going to pull that knife out a lot quicker, possibly. So yeah, I think that dealing with the public and the unknown of what response you're going to get back, whether they're going to feel like they've got a privilege, or they feel like they've got an attitude that they want to portray onto you. That is probably one of my my least favourite parts of the job. I need to see if yeah, I'm back. The other one was any interest in working any other breeds. Obviously, once Cooper's time comes. I've said this before. I've out of the four, so Shepherds, Malinois, Dobermans, and Rottweilers, I would just stick to German Shepherds. It's a decent all-round dog. The person that I've been speaking to, he asked me about it the other day, and I said, look, you're not really going to go wrong with German Shepherds. They're a pretty good all-rounder. People have preferences with Rottweilers and Malinois, which is perfectly fine. I'm probably just going to stick to German Shepherds, to be honest. I know that Dutch herders are used as well, but I just think that I know the German Shepherd breed so well, in terms of my family have had German Shepherds ever since I was born. I think Cooper is so there was one dog that died when I was like maybe 3 or 4, so I can't really count that one, although I can. But I've had Buster, Razor, Chaz, and now Cooper. So Cooper's like my 4th stroke 5th, but Cooper is like my 4th stroke 5th dog. So I've been brought up with German Shepherds, so I know the breed reasonably well. Like I say, they're a good all-rounder for this sort of work. They haven't got, well, some do, but German Shepherds normally don't have the drive that Malinois have. They're not as, to me, they're not as lazy as the Rottweilers. They're kind of like an in-between. Now, there's nothing wrong with Rottweilers, but Rottweilers are bigger, they're slower. Malinois are smaller and quicker. German Shepherds, right in the middle of there, is that you get dogs with good drive. They're reasonably quick. They are easily move. They quickly move. They're good at article search work. They're good at patrol work. They're good at protection work, etc. So for me, if you told me I couldn't have German Shepherds, it would probably be a Malinois, but that would only be if there was never another German Shepherd ever born. So yeah, I would stick with German Shepherds. I've said before, my rank is German Shepherd, Malinois, Rottweiler, Doberman. But if you get an imported Doberman, maybe the imported Doberman goes in front of the Rottweiler. But they're so few and far between. Hello, dude. I was just waiting to receive my SA card. I'm looking to do some site work. I'm in the Kent area. What's the best method to find work? From your experience, thank you. I am in the Kent area as well, so depends on what you are looking to do. Prestige Guarding is who I work for. They're based in Kent. Now, depends if you want to be a static guard, if you want to do mobile, if you want to do door work. Obviously, you're not going to be a security dog handler if you haven't got a NAS doing that. But it depends on what you're looking to do. But I work for Prestige Guarding. I'm from the Kent area, so they're a possibility that you could contact them. In my experience, I'll tell you what. If you can find, well, let's say if you can find me, type my name into Instagram. Find me on Instagram, and I'll help you. Because as far as I'm aware, Prestige Guarding don't do door work, but I will be able to find some companies that do door work if you need some help. But yeah, find me on Instagram. Just type my name into Instagram. Luckily, my name's very unique, so you'll be able to find me. Contact me on there, and I'll help you find some companies. But I work for Prestige Guarding. They're out of East Peckham, which is in between Maidstone and Tunbridge Wells. And they've got mobile sections, they've got static guard sections, Obviously they've got a dog section as well. The only one I don't think they do is doors. But yeah, contact me, and I'll do my best to try and help you. Like I say, if Prestige don't have availability or any job openings at that time, I know some good, and I know some of the bad companies around the local area as well, but I won't give names out because I don't think it's fair. Strike Thunder, me again. What happens when Coop retires? Won't you potentially end up with lots of dogs in the long run? Yes, that is obviously not a worry, but yeah, that obviously is a problem. Now it is a problem and it isn't a problem, so it all depends on how this all goes. It depends how Ollie progresses, depends if I decide to go down that route. Obviously when Coop retires, yes, I'm probably going to have a German Shepherd or 2 German Shepherds and a Cocker Spaniel. Now the way in which that can be okay is that if Cooper the way in which it'll work is obviously Cooper will retire. Now it's a possibility that I can bring 2 German Shepherds to work and leave the Cocker Spaniel at home, or I can bring the Cocker Spaniel and a German Shepherd and leave a German Shepherd at home. Now, one thing that would be good for is if I bring both German Shepherds, Cooper doesn't feel like he's losing out, so I can get Cooper out and I can mill him around, and he can do some patrols, get him out, have a wee, etc. But if anyone comes on, the new dog comes out. So what I'll probably look to do is, obviously, if I get a puppy German Shepherd next, so that will be so then I'll have 1 German Shepherd that's maybe around about 7, let's say. Cooper's 4 now, so let's say Cooper's 7. So I'll have 1 puppy, 1 7-year-old and a Cocker Spaniel. I can leave the puppy at home and take the Cocker Spaniel and the 7-year-old to work. Depends on how Ollie is at home. I could leave the puppy and the Cocker Spaniel at home and just take Coop to work. And then once the youngest German Shepherd becomes NASDA affiliated or has a team certificate, and I can do work with him, I can take the new dog and the Cocker Spaniel, and Coop, who's in his retirement, that is slowed down and just wants to sleep quite a lot, I can leave her at home with the missus. Therefore, even if Coop is 8-9 years old, if someone comes through that front door, he will still do a good enough job that I feel that the missus will be protected, etc. So it can be that you can just sort of rotate the dogs. So it could be that I take Cooper and the Spaniel one night, then I could take 2 German Shepherds the next night, and then I could take the new dog and the Cocker Spaniel. Obviously, once the new dog is old enough, I could take the new dog and the Spaniel on the 3rd night, and I could just kind of rotate them. So I mean, if I've retired Coop, depends on what site. If it's a site like this, I could leave the 1-year-old German Shepherd at home. Probably the missus wouldn't like that. Depends on what type of dog it is. The missus might not like that, but I can kind of rotate Cooper and the Cocker Spaniel, so the missus has only ever got 1 dog at home. And then obviously it's much easier, or it'll be easy for me to look after 3 dogs or whatever it is on the couple of days that it's just me, etc. So I think that I need to wait until I move. I'm not going to be in this flat. The reason that I don't have 2 German Shepherds now is that I wanted to explore the drugs route. Now whether that is going to happen, I'm hoping it is. I am going to give it a go. At the moment I'm saving for a wedding and my money's tied up elsewhere, so I don't have the money to do it. But the reason that I haven't got 2 German Shepherds now is that my flat isn't big enough. It's big enough for a German Shepherd and a Cocker Spaniel. Obviously Ollie's a reasonably small dog. So the reason that I don't have 2 German Shepherds now is because I just wouldn't have the room. Well, I would have the room, but it would be a bit cramped. So I'd need to buy my new place. I think that we're going to look at maybe moving in maybe 18 months time. If the missus watched this, she'll probably go mental, but I think in about 18 months time I'm going to look to get another place, and the next place is going to be brought on the vision of having 3 dogs at some point. I mean, the good thing about Ollie at the moment is that he keeps the missus company when I'm at work, obviously with Coop, etc. So yeah, I think that will be the case, is that whilst the new puppy German Shepherd is young, I'll probably take the other 2 dogs to work, and then once the puppy German Shepherd is a little bit older and I can start introducing him to work, because there's no reason that I can't bring the new German Shepherd at 6 months old, there's no reason I can't bring him to work and get him used to doing patrols, which will be letting him out for a wee, but doing sort of patrols, etc. There's nothing against me bringing him to work, so I can start rotating the other dogs on sort of a bit of a conveyor belt. So the missus is never at home with 2 dogs, because that could be chaotic. I'll probably only ever leave one with her. Which one that would be sort of interchanged, etc. I want to do dog handler work in the long run, however site work is a quick filler in the meantime. Perfect, mate, I'll give you a shout. I really appreciate it. Yeah, like I say, I know Prestige are looking for mobile drivers most commonly. They're always open to, as far as I'm aware, they're open to getting their own security dog handlers in-house. But yeah, find me and I'll point you in their direction. Obviously we're coming up to Christmas now, but I'll point you in their sort of direction, etc. And if they don't have anything available at the moment, I know a few companies that people work for around that will be able to possibly help out. And yeah, then we'll take it from there. But I'll do what I can to obviously help you. It is handy that we live in the same area, so I know roughly some of the companies around, etc., that can help you out. How do they know when your site on your site that it's fully trained dog with you and not an untrained or part-time trained dog with you? They don't. There's no inkling to like, if I was walking Coop around over there somewhere, there would be nothing that would tell them whether he's a trained, part trained or fully trained dog. You don't have to tell anybody. Now, if there is an incident, the police will ask for paperwork, they will ask for all that sort of stuff, so you just have to be sensible with it. But like I say, once in terms of the dog, etc., I will introduce the young dog at the earliest sort of stage, and it will be more getting the dog used to coming to work, used to walking around the site, getting him used to being in a crate for periods of time. Now, what that period of time is different for every handler, but I think that it's quite like Ollie. When I first got him, when I brought him home from Northampton, it was the first time he had ever been in sort of like a travel case, so he wasn't used to it. So what I had to do is then I had to get him used to a crate. Now, he had been in a pen, which was perfectly fine. He was in a pen, but then when he come to us, I had to crate train him, so I had to get him used to being in a crate. And then when I started bringing him to work, is that I needed him to learn to calm down and get used to being in a crate. Now, from probably the second or third shift that I brought Ollie with me, is that he's now absolutely fine of me leaving him in that crate for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, 90 minutes, or whatever it is, however long a period that I need to leave him in there, he's fine. I can put Ollie in that crate and I can drive to Scotland, obviously get out and let the dogs do toilets, etc. But he will quite happily just stay in there until I open up the cage door and say, right, off we go, we're going to go and do this now. So it's not a case of whether people know, etc., but getting the young dog on, just getting the dog used to patrolling a site finding articles. You can do article search training and different things like that. Just getting the dog used to doing that sort of stuff. I mean, obviously they can check your SIA license is valid, etc. But it's not like Coop has one, or do they check the microchip? No, the microchip on the microchip on Coop has nothing about him being a security dog. Every time I go to the vets, I say to them, "Do you know? Have you met Cooper before?" Most of the time they say, "No, I've not met him." And then I say, "Right, he's a security dog. When I open up the back of the van, it's going to be a bit chaotic. Do me a favour, just stand back a bit. I'll get him out. I'll introduce you, and then after that, we should be all golden." And that has been pretty much the way it's gone. On his vet's record, he hasn't got anything about a bite history. There's nothing on his form about a reactivity issue, different things like that, because I monitor it and I do it the right way. And even in COVID, when he had to have his jabs and things like that, we done it all in a car park, so it was less stressful for him. But there's nothing on his microchip. If you scan his microchip, all that's going to come up is obviously my details to contact me, etc. There's nothing on there that says he's a security dog, he's trained to bite people, etc. So no one would ever know. And possibly that's why some dogs in the security dog handling industry sneak under the radar, and you have people working sites without NASDUs and different things like that, because if they say that their paperwork's back at home, then their paperwork's back at home. There's nothing you can really do about it. So in terms of whether anyone would know if Cooper's trained or not, you don't. But if you decide to play the fool and go too far, then you may just find out. So that might be when you know whether he's trained or not. But yeah, hopefully that never happens. Touch wood, it never happens. But we'll see. What are we at? We are at coming up to 47 minutes. That's been pretty good. Someone asked me about any interviews upcoming. I do want to do some more interviews. Now, I did touch base with someone that is reasonably popular on TikTok about doing an interview. I feel like it's an interview that's worth doing. I think it'll be good for security dog handling, and it will be good for the female side of security dog handling. So I have spoken to them about it. They said that they would be happy to do it. So maybe I just need to, now that I've got a bit of time off, is just contact them again and say, look, let me know when you're about, and I'll try and get something sorted out. So yeah, there's someone that's reasonably popular on TikTok. I don't want to say any names just in case it doesn't happen, but I'm going to try and contact them. Sorry, when he messages me, always puts me off a little bit. But yeah, I've got some plans. I want to do some more interviews and that. I think the problem with security dog handling is that security dog handlers don't mind putting up content of them doing some different bits and pieces and that, but very few dog handlers are willing to come on camera and do an interview and put their side over to stuff, because maybe they don't want, if they've got different views to other people. I'm quite happy to put my views out there on stuff, and for people to like me, not like me, argue, or I'm quite happy if dog handlers don't like me. It's not a big deal for me. But I think there are certain dog handlers that don't want to come on, and I think I've met some dog handlers that would be good, would be useful. There was the bloke Neil. I did want to get him on for an interview, because he had an interesting, when he first come into security dog handling, he had one of the interesting first few shifts that I thought was a decent story and maybe worth talking. So maybe I'll speak to Neil and see if he will come on camera. But he does like to go under the radar, so maybe I'll have to bring him in under Neil and give him a funny photo for when he's talking. But I'll see what I can do. But it's something that I would like to do more of, to be honest. yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Non-trained people with non-trained dogs. Yeah, it happens. It's one of the bugbears of security dog handling. You, until they bring a security dog license out in the SIA, and every security dog handler has to have a security dog handling SIA license, and you can't work a dog on a security guard license or a door supervisor license. There's no way that it's going to be brought in, because it's a long story to get into, but unless the SIA are going to do anything about it, there's no way that people are going to be policing it, and a lot of companies let it slide to whether they've got a NASDU and a team certificate anyway. I've got my own thoughts on it. I don't agree with it. I think that if you are going to project yourself as a security dog handler, you should have the certificates and all that to back it up, because at the end of the day, not 9 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, they're the ones that are going to let us down, and they're the ones that are going to bring a bad light to security dog handlers and the breeds that are in security dog handling as well. But it's a long story. I don't agree with it, but there are people and there are companies that will let it slide, and for as long as there are companies that will let non-certificated handlers and dogs on sites, the more it's going to continue. The SIA have the easiest power to put a stamp on it, but they don't want to. They don't want to be involved. So we'll see. But other than that, I can't see it changing much now. All we can do is make sure the next set of handlers are doing things right. Make sure they get in doing stuff right early, rather than getting told that there are shortcuts and then never going and getting their certifications because they found a shortcut and they're getting paid to do what they would be getting paid to do if they had certificates. But yeah, like I say, it's a long story. Right, we are coming up to 52 minutes. I'm going to cut it off there. Hopefully there was some stuff in there. Like I say, if I can, I'm going to try and get another live in before New Year's. If not, this is likely to be the last one. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching all the videos throughout the year. There's a quiz on Saturday. The answers will be the following week, and then we'll be in 2024, where we will be making more videos, doing more lives, and trying to change security dog handling one video at a time. I should say that more often. I actually feel I should say that more often. That was actually quite a good close until I started rabbiting on. So guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being involved. Jono, is it better to get your dog handler tickets before buying a dog? Depends on what way you want to. Depends on what way you want to do it. Depends if you're going to buy a fully trained dog. Depends if you're going to buy a part trained dog. It's much easier. The shortcut is to go and do a week's intense course with a course dog, where you can get your NASDU in a week, and then all you do is get a dog. You can work the dog whilst you train it, and then get a team certificate afterwards. If you're going to buy a fully trained dog, what I would do is get your NASDU, then buy a fully trained dog, then get a team certificate. But there's nothing wrong with getting a dog the same way I did. If you go back, I had a dog. I spent 6 months doing my NASDU, training my dog at the same time, and then passing as a team. Depends on everyone's situation. Everyone's situation is different. If you need to get into it quick, then get your NASDU on a week intense course, buy a fully trained dog or part trained dog, then get a team certificate afterwards. But if you've got time, like I had time, I'd done mine during COVID in 2020. I had 6 months because of furlough. I had 6 months to burn in terms of being able to train my dog up one bit at a time, and me doing my NASDU at the same rate. I feel like doing your NASDU over sort of a 6 month period gives you more chance to speak to different handlers and things like that and get more stories and information. But lots of people are doing the week intense course now, and it does work out in the end, to be honest. Enjoy, mate. Closed on a personalised phrase. Well, nearly. So yeah, guys, I'll be back next year. John, make sure you contact me on Instagram. I'll do what I can to help you. So guys, yep, I'll be back next year where I try and change dog handling for the good, one video at a time. See you later.